Welcome to Body Cams Canada, where corruption is exposed and transparency is alive. Today, we are at 53 Division located in Midtown Toronto. What you are about to watch is a man attempting to file a Freedom of Information request and have his right to do so violated.
So again, I need for your request for the incident number 2440621.
You're not getting the body camera. You can't get it from here.
I also need the 911 call regarding the incident.
I can't give you that. Go to headquarters.
No, I can get it from here.
You cannot get it from
I
here.
told the headquarters already. I'm not going to get it right away.
Well, who did you talk to at headquarters? Who did you talk to at headquarters?
It is called Freedom of Information Act.
Yes, and go to headquarters and get that.
I can do it here.
You're not going to get it.
It's just it won't be right away. So
You're not getting it. You're not getting it. You're not getting it.
you need to give me some days.
I don't have to give it to you. You're not getting it.
17.1. A person seeking access to a record shall make a request in writing to the institution that the person believes has custody or control of the record, and specify that the request is being made under this act. Provide sufficient detail to enable an experienced employee of the institution, upon a reasonable effort, to identify the record. And, at the time of making the request, pay the fee prescribed by the regulations for that purpose.
So after that day's passed, at that time passed,
You get that through headquarters.
You get the record.
Through headquarters.
Through headquarters?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you have a name of the person you spoke to at headquarters?
Sorry?
Who is a person at headquarters that sent you here to get that? I'd like to know, because they're wrong.
Request to be forwarded. The head of an institution that receives a request for access to a record that the institution does not have in its custody or under its control shall make reasonable inquiries to determine whether another institution has custody or control of the record. And if the head determines that another institution has custody or control of the record, the head shall within 15 days after the request is received forward the request to the other institution and give written notice to the person who made the request that it has been forwarded to the other institution. So with that being said, Officer Henry, you are wrong, and everything that happens after this is because of your lack of knowledge. This man should have been allowed to submit this request with no issue if you knew how to do your job.
I don't care. He's mine.
Well, I can't help you then, because that's where you go to get that stuff.
So you refuse to give me, provide me
You know what?
help and service about
I'm not
Freedom of
refusing.
Information Act.
If I could give it to you, I would, but I can't.
So you refuse.
What do you not understand?
So you refuse.
Have a good day, sir.
You as well. So you can take your best off.
No, I just have the body camera.
Just for the body camera.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's the number of the body camera? I'm gonna get the FOIA request of that one.
8795 and Henry.
No, yeah, I know. What's the incident number? Why you have activated your body camera? You need an incident.
Just the way you're acting right now, I'd like to keep my body camera
You need
on.
an incident number. So what's the incident?
Is there anything else we can help you with?
Yeah, I'm asking you. The incident number. Why you
And I'm
have
telling you that we can't give you that stuff. Go to headquarters.
No, I am here and I want to give it here. Which I can.
You're not getting it.
You are about to watch the situation escalate into a 24-hour questionable trespass. You will also see this supervisor go hands-on while violating the rights of Auditing Canada. Keep in mind the lobby he is standing in is a public lobby funded 100% by the taxpayers. Be sure to leave your thoughts down below.
Sir?
Are you refusing as well to give your name and number? You are looking at me and you hear me. I'm asking you last time, for the last time. Are you refusing? We're doing an interview. You have to keep your voice down. Okay, I need some service. I need some service. Can you keep your voice down? We're doing an interview. I need some service. Please go on. I need some service. I'm not going there.
We're in the middle of an interview. You're interrupting our police business. You understand?
I
You're a police station.
am looking for a job. I'm looking for services.
Can we get a vote? We can't do our statement.
Sir, could you leave, please?
I am looking for services.
Okay, we're asking you to leave.
2.1. Every person who is not acting under a right or authority conferred by law and who, A, without the express permission of the occupier, the proof of which rests on the defendant, I enters on premises when entry is prohibited under this act, or 2, engages in an activity on premises when the activity is prohibited under this act. Or B, does not leave the premises immediately after he or she is directed to do so by the occupier of the premises or a person authorized by the occupier, is guilty of an offense and on conviction is liable to a fine of not more than $10,000. I notice a few problems with this. The first being Section 2B of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Freedom of press is protected under the same section as rights such as the freedom to think your own thoughts and freedom to believe in whatever it is you choose to believe in. The freedom of expression includes the freedom of the press. My second concern takes us back to the Trespass of Property Act of Ontario. It clearly states every person who is not acting under a right or authority conferred by law. Not only does the Charter allow citizens to film in public, Regina vs. Zarafanatis is a well-known case where recording the police, while in the course of their duties, played a huge part of the Supreme Court decision which ruled citizens can film the police. And when police try to stop that from happening, it is an abuse of power. Let's have a quick look at this case.
Her Majesty and Zarafanitis, which is a 2013 decision of the Ontario Court of Justice. I'll include a link to the full decision below in the description. And in that case, an Ontario Court of Justice hearing was held in order to determine the appropriate sentencing for a police officer who had pled guilty of assault causing bodily harm. So this was a police officer who assaulted another person and had pled guilty to it, and the question was what would be the appropriate sentence. And in this case, the defendant police officer was an officer who attended at a bar in response to several noise complaints, and there have been recurring noise complaints at this particular bar. And at that time, there happened to be a professional photographer in the bar who had been hired to take pictures of a rap competition. And so, of course, the police officer comes in, and you have a professional photographer with a camera. The camera turns around, and he starts taking photographs of the police interacting with individuals in the bar. And when the police ejected people from the bar, the photographer followed along and continued to take photographs out in the street of the interactions between the police and others with whom those police officers were interacting. Now, at that point, the cop ordered the photographer to stop taking photos and then told the photographer to leave the area. Now, when the photographer refused, the police officer arrested the photographer for public intoxication, a regulatory offense under Ontario's liquor control regulations. And in the course of arresting the photographer, the cop punched the photographer while subduing him, breaking bones in his face. So a significant assault or a significant use of force in making that arrest. And so the officer was charged with assault causing bodily harm, which was deemed to be excessive. The force used was excessive, and it was also admitted to be excessive. So the question was what sentence was going to be appropriate. And so in determining the appropriateness of the sentence, the court went through kind of what happened and what were the different interests that were at play. And so this is from the decision, starting at paragraph 24. The court says, in the course of the submissions, I asked Mr. McKay, that would be the lawyer for the police officer, whether or not the direction to stop photographing was a lawful direction. I eventually got an answer that I take to be the only sound answer to that question. Unless Mr. Faraka's, that's the photographer, unless Mr. Faraka's presence or actions were creating a danger to him or to others, ordering him to stop photographing was not a lawful command on Mr. Zarafanitis' part. And the court then says this is not a trivial matter. The court then goes on to talk about the interaction between the police and the public, and particularly the right of the public to take photographs in circumstances like this. And the court notes, and this is applicable across the board, police-citizen interaction typically involves a significant power imbalance. Now, when it comes to photographers, the court says in the absence of an overarching and tangible safety concern, such as telling a photographer at a fire scene to back away if there's a danger that the building will collapse on him, the court emphasizes telling people not to record these interactions, whether they be a bystander or the person the police is dealing with, So if you are being questioned, this is an aside, if you are being questioned by a police officer, you would have the right to record that. The court then goes, and it's not a lawful exercise of police power. An officer who conducts himself reasonably has nothing to fear from an audio, video, or photographic record of his interaction with the public. And just an aside again here, I've had conversations with police officers who have said to me that, frankly, their actions in public and frankly in private should withstand public scrutiny and should withstand scrutiny of a record being made of what their actions are. And so don't object to any recordings being made. So the court then goes on and says the public has a right to use means at their disposal to record their interactions with the police, something that many police services themselves do through in-car cameras and similar technology. The officer's powers exist to allow him to protect the public and himself and to enforce the law, and they do not extend to controlling the public record of what happened. The maintenance of that public record plays a significant role in the maintenance of the rule of law. The existence of this form of objective oversight has great potential to minimize abuses of authority and to maintain peaceable interaction between police and the citizenry, all of which is very much in the public interest. Interference by a police officer in the public's exercise of that right is a significant abuse of authority. So in this case, the court is clearly saying that taking records of police actions is in fact beneficial, and any interference by the police in the public's right to do that is a significant abuse of authority.
And that's exactly what we are watching now.
We're asking you to leave.
The door's over here, my friend. Let's go. Come on. No, I still haven't finished my beer. Are you guys done with this?
We're done. We're done.
Take note how Officer Henry immediately goes behind this man to complete the circle around him, if you pay attention to this. It happens often, and when it does, it's best to speak up and let the police know you are aware of it, and to stand in front of you.
Leave, which I do not refuse to do it. If I don't leave,
You will get arrested for trespassing and escorted out of here, okay? That's under the Trespassed property act. Yes, if you do not leave after we've requested to you, you will be arrested under the Trespassed property act for failing to leave when directed
for what
to do
crime
so.
are you going to?
It's not a crime, it's a provincial.
Your body camera on?
We're not going to be asking you many more times. We've asked you several times. You're in the middle of interrupting
I'm
our
conducting
interview.
an official police business here.
Leave the building now. This is your third time, and I've heard other officers already asking.
I'm going to leave.
Okay?
If
Leave
you
now. Let's go.
Under
Let's go.
threat,
Right now.
Under threat of arrest.
Exactly. It's called Trespassed property section 2.
Well,
Look it up when you leave.
Unfortunately for you, we just got finished looking it up, and you are the second officer that does not know his job or the laws he is enforcing.
Smartest, you
Go ahead.
Go.
Smartest, according to
go.
do not touch me. Do not
Did I touch you? I didn't
Almost.
touch you. I didn't. Let's go. Almost isn't is. Goodbye,
According
my
to
friend.
the camera.
Yes, I am okay. Goodbye.
Have a great day. You
Okay.
need.
You take care, sir.
Bye now.
You're gonna have a litigation.
Bye now.
Smartest. And me too, Frankie. Really want to know much, motherfucker?
Let me know.
Officer Henry seems to be struggling, turning off his body camera, and he is extremely cautious about what the officers are about to say while it is still on. A bad cop is just another gang member, always thinking 3 steps ahead.
Hold on.
I hope you learned something from this video. Education is key. Be sure to subscribe to our channel to learn more about your rights in Canada.